What is up, everybody? My name is Anthony with VR365, and of course, I am joined by Chris from VR Roundtable.
What's up?
And basically, what we're going to do tonight. So, first of all, I got to say, wait a minute. Okay, Chris, what time is it? It's like 8 something?
Yeah, we're exhausted.
Yeah, we're really exhausted just from the standpoint of it's just chaotic, I mean, it started early in the morning and it went all day and you're walking everywhere and you're doing this demo and you're doing that demo. So apologies if we're a little bit out of it, but that's going to be a factor. But anyway, Chris, so basically, I thought what we do is we're just going to do like a little fireside chat type of a thing, and we're going to talk about what were our like biggest takeaways from what happened on day one of Oculus Connect. So, Chris, why don't I kick it over to you and say, so now that day one is in the books, like when you step back and you think about everything that happened today, like what jumps out at you? Like what's the biggest thing? Like one individual thing that you think is kind of amazing, or like you're
Yeah,
surprised by it, or what? Anything?
yeah. I think I was surprised at like the focus on Quest stuff. Like that's
That was
literally
surprising.
it. Like that's
Yeah.
it though.
Okay.
I thought it was cool that they had the link thing. I really was not expecting that whatsoever. Like I thought that would never happen. It seemed like Carmack said that was a big no. Like that's just not possible kind of thing. But yet here it is. Hand tracking was maybe more predictable. I didn't think about it, but it's probably a logical leap you could
Okay.
make.
Why don't we just let's start
Let's,
off with the link thing for a
yeah, let's
second.
start
Let's
with the
just
link.
yeah, let's talk about the link for a second.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the biggest question I have when it comes to this, well, actually, let me start over and say that the first thought I had when I heard about this link thing was when they were talking about the USB cable, and I'm like, what? I'm like, I thought because I thought it was going to be a wireless streaming with the Oculus Store. I thought it would basically be Oculus doing what virtual desktop and ALVR and all these other programs are doing, but it would be officially from Oculus, and
Yeah.
that maybe somehow, some way, it would work better. I don't know why, but maybe somehow it would work better. And so then when Zuckerberg's talking about USB cables, I was like, wait a minute, you're going to have a USB cable that's going to come out of the side of that thing. And then, doesn't that defeat the whole purpose of like having a Quest and not having wires? But what do you think about that?
Yeah, it is true because like last year everyone was happy that Quest had no wires, yet now everyone's happy that it does have this tether because now we can basically plug into our PCs, which is really cool. I got to try it out, and it's like maybe 90 to 95% of the way to like a Rift S. There's a little bit of perceivable latency with like the controllers moving around and stuff, so it's not like it's a direct display. Like it's almost there. There's definitely some compression in there. Like the resolution's obviously a little less than the Rift S, so you can tell they made some trade-offs with it. But I see why they did it. I was talking to some people who are developers. It just makes sense that there's this Quest that they're selling like hotcakes. Everyone's buying Quest. No one's buying Rift S really. Like maybe I am, but probably
I heard
not.
people say that no
Yeah.
one's buying Rift S, but is this just conjecture? Or
Yeah,
like,
probably. I mean, I think it's true. A lot of people, more people are buying Quest. So it's like I'm putting all this money into all these Rift games, and then like it's not that hard to port to Quest. I mean, it takes a few months, but some of these games like Stormland, you could never think of that coming to Quest. So it makes sense from that perspective. Insomniac being like, hey, we spent millions on this and we can't access this big market. So I get it from that standpoint. I think it's just really confusing now with like what is a Rift S, what is a Quest, what is Quest Link. It's all kind of mushed together now.
Yeah, for me, I mean, the thing that well, I mean, at first I was just like thrown off by this cord thing, and I was
Yeah.
thinking, why is there a cord? But then other people are like, what's the big deal? The cord, you wrap it around, and it's the cord like any other cord. So, like, is that a deal breaker? Not really. But I'm thinking of like the use case for somebody to use this. Like, who is the person that really, really wants this. Because if somebody has I mean, they've already got a Rift, they've already got a CV1, or they got an Index, or they got a Samsung Odyssey or something. Like, what really would be the point of this? You know, you've already got your headset. And the only thing I can think of is I think of the person that they have a PC that can kind of play games, but like it's kind of like a low level gaming PC, like a 970 type of a thing, 960, you know, barely being able to play PC games kind of. And if they were to buy they don't have any VR headset whatsoever.
Yeah.
And then if they buy a Quest, they can kind of kill two birds with one stone, because it can be the portable, it can be their standalone. And the one caveat I will say is, like, if somebody were to have this, if you're playing a seated game, then you're not really losing much of anything, because you don't have to worry really about the cable moving around too much, because you're playing a seated game anyway. So anyway, that's kind of the Oculus Link thing. Any final thoughts on that, or we can move on?
Yeah, it's really weird. It's a weird thing. They should have had this right away. I'm glad it's here now, but I think they should have worked this into the Quest and not had Rift S and just made it one thing, you know? Like, that would have been great. One final thought is, like, Rift S needs a price drop, like, immediately, you know? Because it's also $399. To me, that's a little weird, a little confusing. It's like, why would, if a consumer looks at it, why would I ever get a
But,
Rift
okay,
S?
so my argument to that is that you're thinking of a very educated consumer.
Yeah.
And I don't think, like, the very educated consumer probably already owns a Rift. Mm-hmm. You know, they're already a VR gamer. So, like, I think the people that are, like, thinking about this, they probably aren't even going to be aware of Oculus Link, I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
So, you know. Okay, so let's go to the next topic here. Why don't we talk for a second? Well, I mean, one of the biggest things coming into Oculus Connect 6 was Respawn Entertainment. What is going to be their game? Because this was a big game that is still floating out there. And maybe more importantly than that, it is a big PC VR game. And we did get dates for Stormland and Asgard's Wrath. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But we got dates for those. But the question is, like, well, what is there, like, next year or in the future? And, you know, this is a big game, so there's a lot of excitement about it. And I was really shocked when the trailer came on this. I was pleasantly surprised, actually. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you what I thought going into this, and it was an erroneous thought for me to have this in the first place. But Jason Rubin or somebody, or on the Oculus blog or something, it was mentioned, they specifically mentioned Respawn Entertainment's shooter combat game. It was described as that. I don't have the exact sentence in front of me, but it was something like that, right? And when I heard the word shooter combat, for whatever reason, my mind immediately jumped to this idea of, like, an Onward, Pavlov, Contractors, like a multiplayer, really focused on multiplayer game. And I was just hoping that they would throw a little bone for some type of maybe single player portion of it as well. And what did it turn out to be?
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly single player, right? We don't even know if it has multiplayer, but all they talked about was, like, all these missions from World War II, which I think is really, really cool. They're going back to the Medal of Honor series, which they haven't had a game on that in a long time. So that's super neat. I was expecting Titanfall or something, like a Titanfall VR, which would have been cool too, but I think the focus on single player is nice. Yeah, it's refreshing.
And also, like, when that trailer started playing and you saw World War II, like I know people in the audience were like, huh? What? World War II? Because, you're thinking Titanfall, you're thinking of some kind of, like, robots and space and, you know, something like that. And so the cool thing, Medal of Honor, so going way back to PlayStation 1, there was a Medal of Honor game on PlayStation 1 very late in the PlayStation 1's life cycle, very, you know, pixelated. It was a first-person shooter game. And the studio that developed that game, I don't think they were called Infinity Ward at that time, but I think they turned into Infinity Ward. But don't quote me on this. I might be completely wrong, but that's what I'm thinking. I think the studio that made the original Medal of Honor became Infinity Ward. Now, Infinity Ward, of course, all that drama happened, but the real Infinity Ward is Respawn Entertainment when you really get down to it, and so they're going back to their roots. Like, the other weird thing is, how do they have the license to that? Like, wouldn't that go to the other Infinity Ward that like didn't Activision get that? Like, so I don't know. I don't know how all that works out, but I was actually very pleasantly surprised by this thing because, first of all, I like period pieces. So I mean, when you're in VR, you like to be transported to a different place, right? And so, like LA Noire, the VR case files just came to PlayStation VR, so you get to go to like 1950s Los Angeles. That's really cool. So these period pieces, I think, are cool, and also, like we saw with the trailer, this looks like a high quality production. Like, it's gonna, like, we might see some stuff we haven't seen at all up to this point in VR in terms of like production values.
AAA, a real AAA game. Someone said like 50 plus missions or something. Like, this is gonna be a big game. My friend tried it. I mean, neither of us have tried it, so he said it was just really, the gameplay was really good, really visceral, all the guns and everything. It's kind of like Pavlov, where you can like do the reloading and it's all really, really nice. So.
I saw people playing it and they had gun stocks.
Yeah, that's so cool. They had Oculus never like shows any of that stuff, but here there we were with like a Pro Tube with the recoil just on the show floor, like, using it with that experience already. So that's gonna be big.
Yeah, and we didn't find out anything about like when it's going to arrive. I mean, it just said 2020. Yeah. I personally believe probably late 2020. That would be my guess, but we really don't know anything more about that. Why don't we talk for a quick second about what we didn't hear about? Like, I mean, coming into this show, there were a lot of rumors. Ubisoft, in fact, I think some people might have thought Yves, whatever his name, Guillemot, the main Ubisoft guy, like he might have been here in San Jose, and Zuckerberg might have said, and Ubisoft's Yves Guillemot, and then he comes on stage and we would get the announcement for Assassin's Creed VR, Splinter Cell VR, and then how cool would it be on the show floor to actually be able to try those? But nothing, nada. Well, the other thing, I mean, some people, we were talking with a lot of people today, different people after it was over and during the show and in between, in lines waiting to, demo stuff. And some people were saying, well, maybe there could be an announcement tomorrow. I don't know, probably not, but yeah, that's kind of weird. Were you surprised by that?
Yeah, it really felt like they dropped the ball on new game announcements. Like, the only mention was that there'd be like 100 plus new games and experiences on Quest by the end of the year, but they didn't go in depth on like any of those or if there were any new titles, so that was a little weird. This was really the only announcement other than, dating previous games.
Yeah, and the one other criticism I would make in terms of like things that didn't show up is, I mean, obviously the Quest does very much appear to be that's the focus for Oculus. Like, it's all about the Quest. But if that's true, like, why isn't there one game that is like designed for the Quest but not for any other system, not planned to come to any other system? Now maybe 9 months later it ends up on another system, but like it's really going to be a Quest game from like a legit AAA developer. I thought maybe we'd get something like that, and I don't think we got anything like that. So what other subject would you want to get into? I mean, there's a lot of different things we can still talk about here. Yeah. Talk about that. Go ahead.
Yeah. I jumped right into line after this. I was so excited about the finger tracking because I saw it on the presentation and it looked super good. Like, it looked like it would just be that amazing moment where your hands are totally in VR and like you can do anything and it's just perfectly tracked. I think my expectations were too high from the presentation. It reminds me of that Leap Motion-esque era where you can't like really overlap your hands. So on this demo, it was like a farmer's insurance demo, which is pretty bad, but you got to have the hands in there, so that was neat. But yeah, if your hands occluded at all, like you lose both hands, which is a little weird. I feel like they should keep the top hand if they can, at least, in that scenario. But it's still beta software. Maybe they'll improve it. Still neat to be able to see your fingers, and I was doing some snaps, and it looked really natural and really nice. You can do the middle finger, it works, just like on the valve index. So it was impressive, a little bit laggy. But it is running on a Quest, so it jitters behind where your hand really is, or not jitters, but it just lags a little bit. Kind of impressive, but also I was a little underwhelmed, I guess. But I wasn't expecting the announcement, so it was like a whoa, what? That was really cool.
Yeah. So I mean, we did this. There was a video that was going around before the show started that Zuckerberg, like a little short video clip of the hand tracking. So we knew something was happening with that. We just didn't know exactly how it was going to come down. But honestly, I was surprised by the hand tracking, and I mean, I was surprised by the announcement of it coming to Quest, really happening, because I remember a long time ago, or I mean, not a long time ago, but when the Quest was kind of first being discussed, and I believe Carmack said, he talked about AR and talked about hand tracking, but it kind of seemed like it would be very distant, a couple of years, eventually it might happen, but don't really count on it, kind of a thing. And so for it to really come through, that's pretty impressive. Now I had bumped into you during the show, and you had already done the demo. Yeah. And you basically said you were kind of a bit disappointed, and you talked about the hand going over and all that. So I had heard that from you. I hadn't done the demo at that time. Then I did get a demo. And maybe because I was my expectations were pushed down a little bit. I was actually impressed with what I tried, because I had my hands out here and I'm moving my fingers, and I'm like it's, I'm turning my hands over, I'm looking at them, and so if you're just kind of doing this, it really works. And I moved my hand over here and moved it over here, and it still kind of stuck with it. And as I was doing this little farmer's insurance thing where you're basically spotting water damage, and you're pointing it, one thing I did notice is if you moved your arm too far down this way, it would lose it. So you got to get your hand up a little bit. So it's definitely not perfect, but for me, what's impressive is it's running in addition to whatever program is running as well. And they mentioned that it's not going to really take a lot of CPU or GPU, so that people could actually have legitimate in-depth kind of experiences that are running that could use hand tracking 100%, which I think that's impressive. I mean, I'm just impressive that this is happening on Quest 1, because I kind of thought it'd be a Quest 2 thing.
I thought it'd be, maybe even Rift S would have something about it at some point. But yeah, it was really cool it was on Quest. Neither of us have tried the hand tracking game, which I hear is a lot more in-depth with mechanics and stuff. In the farmer's one, you can't even grab stuff. I feel like it might feel way more magical if I can actually interact other than pointing. That could be really cool. Imagine you probably use a virtual keyboard with that. That'd be sick, and it's totally doable. So
yeah, Apex Construct. They could mod that in for Apex Construct.
Man.
Yeah. So the hand tracking was a surprise, I think. Another surprise for me. This is a minor thing. But we got an announcement that Oculus Go, that not every Oculus Go game or every Oculus Go thing is going to come to the Quest, but I believe they said about 50 titles or something plus, like that. Yeah. 50 plus titles from the Go are going to come to the Quest, but even better than that is you don't got to buy them again. And so that's pretty huge. I mean, think of there's a lot of little different games you might have on your Go, and they can come over to the Quest, and some of these games, I mean, if you're going to get the Quest version, it would be enhanced. You'd have the
Yeah.
6 DoF and all that, and so I mean that's a cool bonus. Like I thought for sure they would be like, I didn't think they would just let us. I thought maybe they would have an emulator, and you could buy Go games,
Mhm.
but you wouldn't like get your Go games.
Yeah, it's funny when they did that. Not a single applause. Like no one cared. It felt like, but I think it is cool if you really think about it. Especially for us, we have a bunch of Go games. Like this is cool for us.
Yeah.
For some reason, people like weren't having that announcement. That was the one where it was just dead silence. It was funny.
Yeah, let's see, what else can we talk about? Well, AR, just really quick. I mean, one of the things we were wondering coming into this is would there be major AR stuff that would pop off here? And that didn't happen. We did get a video that, like, kind of a pie in the sky little video. It did say on the screen, Oculus is making AR glasses. Like, they were very
Yeah.
deliberate with that. So, like, they're saying, yeah, we're making AR glasses, deal with it.
It's just funny. It's like a duh. Like of course they are, but I guess it's good. It's officially like a statement. Yeah, it's pretty obvious that they had to be working towards that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, well, another thing we can talk about, it's probably the biggest topic for most of you guys out there, I would think. For people that are into VR 365, you're kind of the hardcore of the hardcore, right? And you guys, you guys, not me, no, you guys want a Rift 2. You want an advanced Oculus PC VR headset that is a PC VR headset, a high-end, far beyond what we got with the Rift S. And we didn't really get anything like that. We did get Michael Abrash at the very end of the keynote, and he was talking about like long distance future, and they showed like a prototype of something, and they showed some very interesting things, like the whole varifocal, like when they showed the size of the varifocal adjustment thing and then what they got it down to the size of, that was really amazing. Like people were clapping for that.
Yeah, it was amazing how they're like, he's like, here's Half Dome 2. Don't worry about it though. We got Half Dome 3 already, and that is impressive how they fit all that into like a thin lens that they can switch like that. That's gonna be exciting whenever that comes out. It feels like
What though?
Quest 2 or something with that though. It doesn't feel like they're into the PC thing,
Yeah, there. I was waiting in line to play Stormland, and this was just after the keynote had ended, right? And there was a guy that was behind me that was just complaining, like really vociferously. I mean, he was just going crazy, like, I can't believe, and he really complained. Like this one guy was like, well, but it's got, these different, like 8 focal points or whatever, like 64, whatever it translates to, right? And he was like, 64? That's nothing. You've got like infinite focusing angles or whatever. And, he really went crazy about that. And so not everybody is completely pleased, I guess, with where that is. And what Michael Abrash, kind of what he ultimately was saying is that what their plan is right now in terms of like the far-flung future of high-end PC VR is that they have a plan to create a prototype headset that would do all these little things that they want to do, which includes like body tracking, the high-end avatars, all these like different things would all be combined into a singular headset, and that their concentration is to make the prototype. They don't care how big and bulky or it wouldn't be for consumers. It's not designed for consumers. And the idea is, can they even make this prototype within the next couple of years? And then if they can do that, then it proves that they can do it, and then it's a matter of like making it consumer ready and miniaturizing it and doing all those other things. And so, but ultimately the reality of all of that is basically for you guys that want a Rift 2, it's not happening. It is not happening anytime in the near future. And in addition to that, like even more Debbie Downer, Michael Abrash, who usually is pretty upbeat and stuff, he kind of went a little negative toward. I mean, he was just kind of saying, you know, guys, this is going to take longer than we all thought it would. And it's probably going to take even longer than I'm saying that it's going to take longer. And so it was almost like he was saying the trough of disillusionment is going to keep on moving on. So
Yeah.
kind of like curb your enthusiasm a little bit when it comes to PC VR gaming.
That was
What did you think about all that?
Yeah, that was a little bit sad because in the previous talks he'd be like, yeah, by 2020 we'll have 4K per eye and all this stuff, or we'll have like 140-degree field of view. But yet here's Half Dome 3, and they even reduced the field of view from the 140 that the Half Dome 2 was. So they're definitely realizing it's harder, I guess, than they thought. Hopefully they can be proven wrong. Like some other company can come along and like make these big leaps, but maybe it is just a really hard thing to do.
I think they're choosing. Uh, why did he ever explain why they had to like reduce? Because I think he mentioned that the field of view would still be about 20 degrees more than it is on Rift, so kind of like a Valve Index basically.
Yeah.
But he didn't. I don't know if he like explained why they had to do that, but maybe was he talking about like grams and like how heavy, like maybe that's kind of part of it, like they can't make it so huge or something,
Yeah,
like they want to
maybe.
make it a smaller device.
Because he was like, we want it to be really comfortable. The Half Dome 3, we want it to be super comfy. So maybe that adds a lot of bulk. That could be it. Yeah.
They did have this prototype image that I got it, like, see, if I was home right now rather than, on the road, that would be like my thumbnail. I mean, it would be the it's got to be a lot of people's thumbnails where they just, because it was like Rift. I mean, I think it was Rift S, and then they had the prototype, and they were like sitting, and the prototype was like a sleek, futuristic looking thing. Like, I don't even know if it was a real thing or if it was like a little CGI kind of a thing.
I'd buy it.
Yeah, but I'm sure somebody grabbed that image, zoomed it up, and that's their here's Rift 2 unveiled,
Yeah.
which it really was. Unveiled coming in 2030. But yeah, so there was that kind of bad news. A lot of people are walking around after this whole thing was over saying, well, Oculus killed the Go and the Rift in one fell swoop, or whatever they were saying. But what about demos? Like, you talked about the hand tracking demo. Any other demos you got to? Well, you tried the Link demo. You said it was a little degradation. Any other demos you got, or was that pretty much it?
I mean, that's pretty much it. To be fair, the Link is way better than streaming. Like, there's no artifacting, and it's pretty clear, and there's no like hiccups or anything. So in that perspective, I think it's better than VR desktop or anything like that. But it's still not PC VR level. Like Rift S still has like a very small market. I think it's pretty small now. It was bigger before this. Now it's like if you want very low latency desktop VR that's higher resolution, then you get a Rift S kind of thing. But
yeah, and you mentioned that like one of the things you're thinking about is when this does come out, that you might like you want to do a bunch of A/B comparisons.
yeah,
And then if it's not that big of a downgrade, you might let your Rift S go.
yeah. I mean, it feels weird to have two headsets that are both have the exact same controllers to play the
Yeah.
exact same games, but like one can do both and one can't. It's a weird place.
Oh, one little tiny thing they mentioned is that Pass-Through Plus is going to come to Quest.
That's huge. I think I
Yeah.
love that. Pass-Through Plus is great. It's
I
so
I
good.
haven't really experienced it because when I had the Rift S at GDC, I mean, I only had 10 minutes with the thing, and I didn't get to do anything
Yeah.
with that. And I don't own a Rift S, so I don't really know. I like Pass Through on the Quest already as it is, so if they can make it even better, that'd be great. Let's see, what else? Damn it, I had thought of something. Oh, we might want to mention Facebook Horizon or whatever.
yeah,
What is that?
whoops.
What is it called?
That's
Is that,
it,
That's
Horizons.
it? Okay.
Yeah.
Is it Facebook Horizon?
Facebook
Okay.
Horizons.
Facebook Horizons. Okay, so yeah, the metaverse is coming soon to a theater near you. And, they showed a video of like people flying, and oh, dude, was that commercial cringeworthy or what?
That was bad.
That was really cringeworthy. First of all, they get two soccer moms talking about, yeah, we're flying airplanes. Okay, soccer moms, no, they're not interested in that. Let's get real. But, I mean, eventually this is going to have to happen, right? And so I think the beta, like there might be like a closed beta towards the very end of this year, or maybe very early next year, and then
Hey,
so this is more of a future thing.
we get access.
Yeah, we get access. Yeah, so we didn't get an AR headset underneath our chairs, and we didn't get a Quest, and we didn't get like leftover Goes that they just want to give away now because no one cares.
Yeah.
But we did get. We're going to get access to Facebook Horizons, so we'll be able to check that out firsthand. I mean, there could be some really cool things about it. They showed like how you could make your own little areas and design things, and then people could come visit, your areas, and we'll have to see how that all works out. I mean,
Yeah.
the one thing about it though is it could really kill some of these other competitors, that
Yeah.
because Facebook wasn't there all this time, and now they're going to finally enter that space.
I'm wondering if it'll be that way, or it'll be like, oh, everyone's still on VR chat, no one's using Facebook Horizons. It could go that way too. It's just like no one seemed to care about VR or about Facebook Horizons either in the audience. Like, reactions weren't as big. Like everyone, when the Link came out, everyone was like screaming. When Horizons came out, people were like, "Yay! All right!" Like
Vader Immortal available today.
That's
People were
cool.
screaming about
yeah,
that.
people love that.
Yeah. Were you surprised by that? Because they
I was
went
not
into the trailer of Vader Immortal, and see when we're here at this Oculus Connect San Jose McInnery Center, whatever, like the bass is like boom, Star Wars. I mean, it like you get that tingle in your spine, when you hear Star Wars, and when it's like thundering like that, and then at the very end it said out now or whatever it said, or out today or whatever, and I was like, go figure. I didn't bring my Quest, and I can't, like, we won't be playing Vader Immortal until we get back home.
Yeah.
So yeah, Vader Immortal 2 available now. I actually got a chance to try it, but I just tried the it was like the dojo. They didn't let me in the actual like story part of the game.
How's the Force?
And well, the only thing I was doing is, I was using the Force to like grab things and then throw things. So I pretty much was, I was grabbing my lightsaber and then throwing my lightsaber and then grabbing it back and then throwing it. And quite honestly, it really didn't do much for me, what I saw in that little segment there, because we've had the Force in a million VR games when you think about it. The ability to grab something and throw something, like lots of VR games give you that ability. So I hope to try tomorrow, maybe some of the story part of it. So.
Yeah, that'd be good. We gotta get in early and do that hand thing. See if it's good, that hand game.
Absolutely. I did, just to comment real quick, I did play Stormland, some more Stormland, but my demo was not good. Not because of Stormland, the game itself, but like when I got into finally do the demo, it, Rift S, and the IPD must have been set like way tiny. So the complete opposite. First of all, it doesn't even have like a legit IPD adjustment, so it's like software based, so it's already kind of crappy as it is. But I think the software based IPD was probably way low because it was not, like, it did not look right for me. And then also the audio, and this is a running theme, folks. The audio for almost every demo I did was ass. And I couldn't hear it, like it wasn't loud enough. They had like these Sony headphones, and I don't know if the Sony headphones had its own built-in volume control that was turned down abnormally low, because I was pumping up the volume on my Quest, when I was doing these demos. I was pumping the volume to the maximum and it was still quiet. And so, I did Stormland. It was a co-op demo. I was with this other guy. We were running around. Now looking at your robot arms and all of that all looks fabulous. It looks great. They've got actually full body kinematics in terms of you look down, you see legs and everything, and as you're moving around, your legs are like moving and stuff, and you see the other guy and he's kind of hopping around. Yeah. Lots of guns. Were good. Yeah, lots of guns to pick up, and the environments were pretty good. I was battling some like weird plant life things, like almost like Venus flytraps, but like giant versions of them. And So it was okay, but I don't know, some of the controls and stuff, I was struggling with it a little bit. We might as well talk about the date, actually. So Stormland is coming, I believe, October 10th, I think.
You're probably right. You're good with dates.
Or no, wait a minute. Is it Asgard's Wrath that's
Asgard's
coming?
Wrath's first.
Yeah, Asgard's Wrath is October 10th. And then Stormland is November 14th. So we're actually going to be... Asgard's Wrath is not far away at all. So that is exciting.
That's a huge game. That's very huge.
I still haven't tried it ever.
Me neither. I don't know why. I keep doing
There is a
Stormland.
demo.
Yeah,
there is a demo. So we're going to try to see if we can get into some Asgard's Wrath tomorrow. Another thing we should probably mention is the show floor. Like, honestly, I'm disappointed with what's on the show floor because, like, I had this vision in my mind that there would be a ton of Quest games, like future Quest games, like 11 table tennis and, you know, just like maybe Arizona Sunshine on the Quest. You know, like there's all these games that are coming to the Quest. None of them were anywhere to be found. And then even like Rift demos, like I thought, well, maybe there would be some PC VR games that are future games that we might get a little sneak peek of those, like Pistol Whip or something, or I don't know, some other. Oh, here's a huge surprise. Boneworks, baby, coming to the Quest, but I mean, not exactly Boneworks, but in the Boneworks universe. What did you think when you saw Stress Level 0? You're like, what? This isn't a Quest? Wait, this is Oculus. What's going on here?
That's really exciting, yeah. I think Boneworks is going to be huge. I'm really worried that this is going to be so scaled down that it's going to suck. It's going to be like a really, really tiny game. I hope they make it big because, you know, it seems like it's going to be a big hit on the PC side, so maybe finally a dedicated Quest game. Maybe.
Yeah, this actually could be a dedicated Quest game. What do they call it? Was it Special Project 4?
Yep.
Or some okay.
Project
4. Or Project 4 or whatever, something like that. And if you think about it, Stress Level 0, Hover Junkers, Duck Season, Boneworks, and then this is Project 4.
Yeah.
And so Project 4 is a Quest specific game. I mean, it may end up eventually hitting Rift, of course, like all of them do. Which I have a problem with that, but that's another story. But no, that looked, I mean, well, all we really saw was like one little screenshot or whatever, but it looked really cool.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you can think of?
No, it was pretty good. I hear it's a little bit worse than other Oculus Connects in terms of kind of everything. You know, everything was a little bit meh. Like, no huge announcements. Everything was a little bit toned down, but still a good day. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw Tyrell Wood. I saw Nathy. Couple of other people were there at Oculus Connect. So it was cool to catch up with some people and talk. I saw Deli Wolfensparger. I talked to Deli Wolfensparger for quite a little bit, so that was really cool. Lots of other people. Steve Drumheller from Conquer Reality, talked to him briefly. And quite a few. And a few people actually recognized me. I went into a demo for... Echo Arena. I should probably talk about this real quick. Yeah. So I did do a demo for Echo VR for the Oculus Quest, which is, you know, ready at dawn. Oh, they didn't have a Lone Echo 2 demo.
They did.
They did?
I think I saw.
Oh, damn! I need to do that.
We need to do that. Yeah.
I need to do that. Did you ever play that at PAX?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. But I went into the Echo VR. Or, yeah, I guess that's what it's called, Echo VR on the Oculus Quest. And, man, what do I say about this? So, there were aspects of it that actually were extremely impressive, and there were aspects of it that were, really bad. Yeah. So it was impressive because your hands, you know, when you're playing Echo VR, you know how your hands, your hand, interacts with surfaces. It was doing that pretty well, and you could grab things and pull yourself and stuff, but there was lots of watered down is the two words you want to use, very watered down. If you're a graphics whore, don't even bother with Echo VR on a Quest. But again, it's also impressive that it pretty much was working. Like throwing the frisbee and like, doing what you're doing, like it pretty much was working. So,
I'll have to try that.
So anyway, guys, that's basically going to go ahead and wrap it up for this little quick impromptu session here, fireside chat with Chris from VR Roundtable. Of course, I'm Anthony from VR 365. We're going to go back there tomorrow, and we're going to check out a bunch of crap tomorrow. The John Carmack keynote. And John Carmack, what a cool dude.
He's great.
I mean, he was in the hallway talking to people, like, giving, like, he's just a good guy, just a good guy, period. And so, yeah, we're going to see his keynote tomorrow, so we're really excited to just hear him ramble on all kinds of topics.
Yeah.
Lots of little details that won't find out anywhere else, probably, in that. And then we'll try a number of different demos that we didn't get a chance to try yet. But that'll go ahead and do it, guys. So we'll see you next time. Take it easy.
Bye.